Welcome back to the Sacred Soul podcast. I'm super excited. Today's guest is Jennifer Longmore. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's just my great joy and honor to be here.
Yes, and like I told you before, you were a big inspiration for me when I was considering leaving the real estate industry as a residential sales agent because I had heard you on other podcasts and just your message about abundance and money and wealth was so refreshing and positive. And probably the first I had heard from someone who was connected in the energetic world, someone who also believes in ascension and like all the things. And so that message was so powerful. It planted really good seeds for me to actually transition out of real estate for a certain period of time and start my healing and coaching business. So thank you for that inspiration.
Oh, I'm so glad that that served. And yes, the one community that people get um, greatly judged for wanting money is the spiritual community. And we judge money. We judge, especially if they are judging that it is fiat currency and all of the things that are associated with that. They judge people for having money or not having it, and then judge themselves for judging others, judge themselves for wanting more money, and then judge themselves for the judgment. You see, it just ends up going into a big shame spiral. It's not impossible to create in shame. It's just that we have to work that much harder because we're making it mean something. The whole goal is to, part of why I'm here now as Mother Malia, and we haven't gotten into that yet, but I am channeling this 24/7. I can't help it. It just did not shut off. Uh, well, first of all, we all have grand missions. There's an urgency I'm sure many people are feeling to reclaim our planet, to restore heaven on earth. And yes, we don't need money per se to affect change because if everything is frequency, of course, but money sure accelerates the ability to spread it a lot quicker, doesn't it? We can spread the mission with lack, or we can spread the mission with abundance, but money is really just at this point a tool. And many light leaders, they will reject it because they view it as something bad. But money is the language spoken here. Whether we like it or not, this is the language spoken here. You can think you're too spiritual, or it is not, blah 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 blah. All of the things we will say in our head, but this is the language spoken here. And so if we want to speak to the humans, and we need to speak the language.
Yes, absolutely. It's about embracing it and not resisting it, right?
Yes, exactly. And so, I used to, back when I used to charge $100 an hour for a reading way back in the day. I have been at this for 20 years. And of course, even then, people will have price objections, or some people say, I can't work with you unless you charge me more. It was very interesting. I had some clients that will have to pay me $250 an hour because they just couldn't value the session unless they were paying more. So that's when I really learned that my pricing has nothing to do with me. It does in the sense that, I need to feel that I'm being compensated for the gold that I'm pouring into people. But it really is about, and I know you will get this as well, Vanessa, that there's a certain amount of money that people are willing to pay to still talk about their hangnails. I say that very playfully, right? And then there's an amount of money where people say, I better stop chasing my tail, just constantly ruminating in the problems. And if I'm charged enough, I'm actually going to show up differently and actually just receive and do the work. But if we're not paying enough, we just don't show up and utilize that time. And then, of course, those same people might then say, I hired a coach, I didn't get any results. Well, you weren't showing up in an energy to get results. So, but anyways, when I upgraded my pricing significantly, some of the clients, which of course is just emotional blackmail anyways, you're too expensive, you're all about the money now, you have changed. And I said, well, I am in the business of changing. I will hope I have changed. I will hope you will celebrate my change. If I am standing for constantly leveling up and I am showing you that I just did, your choice is to judge it or to celebrate it. And so that actually speaks more about your character than mine. But I'm not the one that makes it all about the money, and I know you are not either, Vanessa. It is the people that are talking about it all the time that usually say, I'm not money motivated. Well, then why is it keeping you up at night? Why are you spending so much time trying to figure out if you are not all about the money? So I am only helping people dissolve the blocks to the very thing that they say they're not about, but yet spend an awful lot of time focusing on.
Right.
Yes, yes, I will not be gaslit by other people's, projections. That is not me making it all about the money. I will tell you, I've been in business for 20 years. My accountant is perplexed by me because he will message me saying, we need to create a new tax plan based on what you made last month. And he will tell me, and I'll say, I had no idea. He says, how do you not know how much money the company is making? I say, I don't need to. It's not about the money. Like, it was never about the money, but you know what I mean? My financial advisor will message me, okay, we're going to have to find a new home for that money so that you don't get dinged. Let's hop on a call. I say, what are you talking about? Did you not see how much you made last month? I say, no, I didn't know because I don't need to.
Right. Right.
The money just comes.
You're
I
in
know it may
flow.
sound counterintuitive, but the whole key to my success was just focusing on how how many prayers can the business answer today? How can I be a contribution to all the things that
Mm.
are already happening? And so thank you for letting me ramble. I apologize, but yes, it is when we get very fixated on, I need this amount this month, and it's going to mean something about me if I don't make it, if I do make it, etc. The people that are needing to be significant, they're literally led by significance, chasing significance. That's why they go into the communities, the felt hat society communities, the ones that are all about cliquey and hey girl, hey, and let's
Mm.
all pack up. You're not going to get results in that world because you're going in to fill an unmet need of significance, to feel important, to feel special, to feel like you belong. That is a misdirected need. But when you are focusing on contribution, money just flows so differently. Because you can make money, by the way, through significance. We have evidence of that on the world
Yeah.
stage. But
Yeah.
do you feel good about it? Are you actually sleeping at night based on how you got it? Or because through significance, we will still lose sleep over, is this going to disappear? Is the rug going to be pulled out from underneath me? But if your business is solidly rooted in how can I contribute to others, nobody can take that away. And the money only keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we are going to talk about Mother Malia in just a moment.
Yes,
I
yes.
lead a mastermind of spiritual entrepreneurs, and we actually just got off our Thursday coaching not too
Oh,
long ago today. And someone in the group, I told them I was going to be interviewing you, and they pointed out one of your posts, and I think hopefully you could add some more context because it's a powerful post as well. It says, money is not a problem to be fixed. It is medicine to be received. And that just gives
yes.
chills.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that. Well, yes, this is part of the issue. If people are always trying to solve problems, we must leave the problem paradigm. The
Mm.
problem paradigm is a product of a programmed world. In the truth of who we be, at the core of who we be, as divine beings, we are not a problem and there are no problems. And I would just like to preface this because some people misinterpret what I mean by that. I'm not talking about racism and other ways that people are othered. I'm not talking about systemic issues. I'm not talking about trauma. I am talking about self-created problems because we get energy from the problems, staying in the relationship that we want to keep telling everyone we're going to leave, but we never leave it because we're getting something out of constantly talking about the problem. And, the problems, and I'm talking about the day-to-day problems we have are usually on the other side of the decisions we're not willing to make and the conversations we're not willing to have. But yes, we all know the business is the medicine as well. There are a few things that are medicine for us. Our body, for people that struggle with the body, that is their medicine. For people that struggle with relationships, that is the medicine, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, the biggest thing for people is the money. And if they understand that it has nothing to do with the money uh, is simply illuminating, simply shining a light on the things that already needed to be healed, the things that you were already going to book a healing session about, the traumas, the disappointments, the betrayals, the family dynamics, the bullying in school, all of the things, the doubts, etc. That is what money allows us to clear, and it puts a pressure cooker on us. So we either can crumble under pressure or become a diamond because we know that both things can happen under pressure. And so when we can allow money to be our guide, our teacher, when we get curious about it, we say every day, "Hi, money, how can you surprise and delight me today? I'm willing to be surprised and delighted by you." When we open up to that, it really, that's all it wants to do. Because here's the thing, if we look at love languages, our business needs acts of service from us. We have to show it acts of service in order for it to provide for us. Whereas money needs words of affirmation, but how it shows us love is through acts of service.
Right.
When we understand how to do that dance, business and money become very easy.
Mhm.
Because most people are not understanding you are in a sacred union with your business. It is a lifetime relationship. If this was an actual partner, would we expect the partnership to thrive if all we did all day was critique it, try to figure it out, look at it as a problem, try to make it wrong, reject it, avoid it, not look it in the eyes, etc.? No, we will say, okay, like for example, I is it my favorite thing to go into all of my accounting and pull documents to send to the accountant? No, that is hard on my brain. My brain doesn't work the same way anymore, you know? But it takes me 5 minutes. And it's an act of love. It's similar to going to a movie with a partner that you don't really want to go to, but because you love your partner and you want to spend time with them and it's important to your partner, you say, okay, I'll go to that movie. And by the way, you don't tell the partner, I'm doing you a favor by coming to this. You just go do it, you know? I don't tell my business, I need you to know how much of a burden it is for me to have to spend 5 minutes pulling the documents, you know? But people view every single act that they need to take in their business as some sort of punishment. This isn't fair. How come? Why can't someone else do it? If we now view it as this is just acts of love, just acts of
Mm,
love. We can't,
beautiful.
it is talk about castrating the business when we say, I want you to provide for me, and then we don't do our part in order for it to provide for us. But when we love our mission enough, you know, it is actually very easy to do these acts of service. We actually don't even need to do that many in order for the business to provide. We can make a million excuses. We can take a million moves and stay stuck at 6 figures, or we can make one or two potent moves, acts of love, and have the same, well, actually have $1 million business, you see.
I love that. One or two potent acts of
Yes,
service.
yes. So, for example, this has always been the case that my voice, more so than anything, just converts very well in sales.
Mm.
So if I'm not making sales, I already know what to do. If I am not creating conditions for me to share my actual harmonics with people, the actual voice, and then I play the I don't know why I'm not getting sales card, that is incongruent. So it is important, by the way. Some people it is their face, some people it's their eyes, their smile, some people it's their written word, some people it's a combo, but every one of us has a superpower, just an actual amplified superpower that just organic in order to be able to make sales. Why wouldn't we just use that? So back to the $1 million move, right? I'm not saying this will be the example, but perhaps I go and I get on one really super gargantuan podcast with millions and millions of listeners with my absolute ideal clients or something. That is a smart move. The
Right.
ROI on that move is going to be more significant for me than a bunch of little tiny posts on social media, even though those are important as well. And I love doing that, by the way. I do think it's important. But anyways, I will stop rambling because I know you have other things you would like to share.
Yeah, well, that was so valuable. I just love the wisdom that you're able to bring to all of this. And maybe this is the perfect time to talk more about Mother Malia.
Yes. So, well, when I was a baby, I remember seeing orbs in my crib. I was about 10 months old. And by the time I was 3, I was very telekinetic. I will have objects flying around my room, and I didn't have the words really to explain it. And my parents were both very open to this, by the way, because then we went for a past life regression when I was 3, 4 years old with a trance channel. I'm sharing this for a reason because it will make sense in a moment. And And so my parents spent a good chunk of the day with the trance channel, and I sat around the pool. It was not a cult, but it was kind of like a communal living situation, like what we might see now. And so all of these adults will swim up to me in the pool. Hello, little girl. Do you know the meaning of the universe or the reason, meaning of life? I will say, actually, I do, blah, blah, blah. I will just start channeling. But I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I was just speaking very matter of factly. And so all of a sudden, all these people were swimming up and just rapid firing questions to me. And that was Mother Malia at the time, but it was coming through my human voice box, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And then my grandfather was a psychic medium with the police, so he loved playing psychic wizardry with me, I will call it, just constantly sending me. I don't know if you've read any of the Seth Speaks books, the Jane Roberts books. They're very heady, very big channel transmissions. He was sending those to me on the bus at age 7. Like even now, if you try to read it, you get a little cross-eyed reading that, because it's one of those kind of things. But anyways, went to school. I didn't realize why I was upsetting people because I knew things that I didn't know that they didn't know. I was just speaking as though everyone was in on this conversation. And then in my teenage years, I said, boy, this feels like a curse. What is going on? And rejecting it wasn't making going away. So I leaned into it. A whole long story of, I then became a Reiki master, went into forensic investigation, still followed the conventional career path, right? And learned a lot about trauma, of course, by investigating very, very significant crimes. And then started my business 20 years ago. And but anyways, last year, I said, for a few years, I had been saying to people, I just want to channel 24/7. I just want to get back into channeling. And I want to channel 24/7. I just want to make $1 million a month channeling, just helping the people. It's time. And I was at a private horse sanctuary 6 days before this happened. And I had very significant anointings from the horses. And horses, by the way, everyone, is very important because they literally are the medicine of sovereignty. And so the way we treat horses is really unacceptable and incongruent to, along with many other animals, of course, but the sacred horse is very, very important. It is the second highest frequency on the planet. And if you've ever spent a time with a horse, you will know that. But yet people try to tame them and then get mad at them and mistreat them because they can't be tamed. They are not meant to be tamed. They literally are freedom and sovereignty. That is literally their medicine,
Mm.
right? And no accident that I would just say the Slytherins on the planet, the dark ones, I will just say for ease, really hijack horses. They do all of the silly billy horse races. The queen does it, etc. They do all kinds of things I don't want to get into, but it is very unfortunate because we have been programmed to reject that medicine, just like we've been programmed to reject the medicine of many other animals, money, etc. And so my point is, 6 days later, halfway through my sold out retreat in Sedona, I went to bed one day as Jennifer. I woke up the next day as Mother Malia, and then I just couldn't go by Jennifer anymore. Yes, you see it on my socials and stuff. I have to kind of keep it there for a little bit longer until people get used to seeing my voice. But it's not that Jennifer is a bad name, and it's not that I am not her. It is that it just doesn't resonate. It will be like you calling me Frank.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like it is
Okay.
just, I don't mean it the way it sounds, but it's kind of like, But anyways, I was very fortunate that this happened with a group of people because, many people will have this experience and maybe think they're going crazy, which is a common fear of people to channel because there actually is a fine line between channeling and that. But anyways, Mother Malia, her full name is Mother Malia, the Great Mother. I said, well, why are you here? And she says, I've always been with you, but I have to move the human out of the way now because we have to accelerate the mission. My human was in the way. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she operates from neutrality and above, which is why people are shifting even quicker in my world because there's no judgment in my space. There's only love. And when people feel safe, any of us, whether they're in a container or not, we grow to the degree that we feel safe. And safety also includes non-judgment. It is actually impossible for me to judge people. It is impossible for me to swear. You will notice some of my words are very different because they might sound a little old-timey, I say jokingly, because there are certain words that are actually spell casting against us that I simply cannot use.
Mm.
But most of the words, as we all know, because we like to communicate telepathically, don't we? We do that because most words that we have access to are their words and they spellcast us. And so they always feel like we're stringing together a harmonic that is never quite hitting the mark in the words we would like to share, other than words like love or, there will be words, of course. But anyways, I'm here to literally show people what it looks like. Literally, I am the physical representation of if you literally move into 5D, I don't like that term, but we will say it for ease. If you truly ascend and operate from the new earth, this is how we be. This
Mm.
is also why we want more money. The reason why we all want more money is because money gives us the space to be. And that is what we want, is more choice points to be, because that is why we came here. So it is, I will just say for ease, almost offensive to our original coding to constantly be put in positions to do and work against our original nature, right? That is where we get the resistance. People will judge themselves. Oh, I want more money. Of course you do. And let's celebrate that, because it's not about the money. Money is simply, I will just say, the avatar, I don't know how else to say this, for giving us the space to choose how we wish to spend our time here. Not even
Mm.
just the experiences. We literally need space to wake up in our natural rhythms.
Yeah.
We need space to do what we love and get paid to do what we love. What
Yeah.
I do does not feel like work.
Right.
Most people cannot say that. And even for people that think they are doing what they love. But point is, I am here to show people how to live in neutrality and above, because you see, I have no problems. All I do is I am in joy.
Mm.
And the reason why joy is important is because we are in a frequency war that has been brought to our doorstep. And people want to fight it, to out people. No, the way through, well, we knew what we were coming into, if we really want to be honest,
Right.
we already
Mhm.
knew. My point is, in the past, when we have been here before, we have tried other tactics that are not going to match this. Here I am going to tell you very clearly that when I became Malia, someone's phone rang and it sounded like a mechanical bee. And I laughed so hard for an hour straight. We were all laughing for an hour straight. They did not know why they were. I could not stop laughing. I thought, if that is the best they can do to replicate the highest frequency on the planet, the bee, which I am a great steward of, uh, uh, then we've already won the war. If you think
Mm.
about how they try to replicate the sacred wolf through the sirens, that is the best they can do. That is the
Mm.
best they can do. Why are we giving them so much credit? Look at
Mm.
how much effort, how much stealthy, invisible things they need to do with the cell phone towers, the silly business through the phones, the TV, the programming, etc. They have to do everything in a stealthy, hidden, sneaky way, and a lot of it to try to tamper with our frequency.
Yeah.
But I'm here to promise you, I promise you, I promise you, they are not going to be able to replicate consciousness. They simply cannot. They are trying to do that right now through the AI. They simply will not be able to do that because we are in ascension intelligence. It's actually called harmonic intelligence. That is the ascension process that we are going through, remembering our original coding, which is what I'm here to help the humans with.
Mm.
But back to the frequency, you will see I am in great joy all of the time. And sometimes I get big joy bubbles and then I get into ecstasy. Now, the average human can hold joy for 5 minutes because joy is the highest frequency. Joy is not the frequency expresses as joy. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
And so we just use the word joy, but it is more than joy, you see? Joy, this is how we are wired. We are meant to be in awe and fascination at all times. My point is, the average human can hold that for 5 minutes before they bump back out and go back into problems. They literally cannot hold the frequency. Now, the average healer, which might bump up against some sensibilities, can hold it for about 30 minutes. And I'm going to invite everyone to try on your own. Because Malia has been very clear, if we can hold the joy, sustain it for 3 hours minimum a day, we tip into mass consciousness. And it
Mm.
sounds easy, doesn't it? But it is not about the joy again. I just want to be clear. It's that we know how to access joy. We know if we're in nature or around the animals or in the salt water or in the sun, etc. We have a much better time being in joy because we are in neutrality, because there's no ego in nature, there's no ego with the animals and with the sun, etc. The point is, because I've had many clients tell me this, it is very challenging for them to be in this for even longer than an hour, and they want to keep developing the muscle. But all it is that you see, many healers, we are very masterful at being able to read energy, spin it around our finger, access it. And this is where many healers will get upset with me, but you are not masters of holding it. You
Mm.
haven't learned how to bring it into your body, because when you do, you will be able to hold more money as well. But you will
That
be able to
resonates.
hold more joy, etc. So there's no judgment, but you see, there's too much infiltration. I will just say, for ease, false light
Mhm.
in our community. It is purposely infiltrated for a reason. And so they purposely have withheld that missing link from the humans so that we don't reach full ascension. So that is why I am here, to restore original coding. So just to give everyone an idea about Malia, Malia was last time, this is according to the history, this is not true, but just to give you a context of how long it has been since the last time I've come to the planet, was 12,000 BC. Yes, and because I held such great stewardship of the bees, they named the Malia bee after me. And in Greece, they have actually created the island of Malia, and there is a palace for Malia, but I know that is filled with distortion. So I am going to Greece in the fall, and I'm going to lead a retreat there, and I am going to go and restore original coding in Greece. Because you see what I'm saying? People go there to these sacred sites. They are not our sacred sites. I will tell you that. They are not our sacred sites. You are going to sites and going into someone else's religion, and I will just leave it at that. But
Mhm.
it does not mean there are not sacred places in Greece. I want to be clear about that. But the ones that the history books, the controllers have told us, are sacred. They are sacred to the Slytherines, which I call them very playfully. They are not sacred to us. I promise you that. And so there's much of that on the planet, as you can well imagine, but there's a lot of work to do. So I am not here to, I am here to pollinate. I'm here to come into different worlds and just leave the gold dust, I will say, and move along. People have said to me, if I introduce my clients to you, you will take my clients. I'm not taking anyone's clients. I don't want that. I will prefer for your clients to stay with you and me to just transmit whatever little tune-ups, I suppose, to fully awaken everyone to their original coding. And then, but you get what I mean. Anyways, that was a lot to come at you. I'm sorry about that.
I'm here for it. I'm just, you took me
Yes.
on a journey, and I'm loving it so much. And just to relate a little bit, I went to Greece, to Athens in 2015, and I do think it was meant for me to be there. It was divinely orchestrated. However, um, I felt like something was off with the sites that I was visiting. I still honored, the energy
Yes.
there and everything that I was experiencing. And it was meant for me to feel that dichotomy. I also believe that too, so that I
Oh,
can
yes.
awaken to what's not 100% in its pure energy. And so
Yes.
I can just relate to that a little bit.
Yes, and I was there 10 years ago, so it is interesting I'm being called back 10 years later, because the bees initiated me as well then, or came to
Mm.
visit. They will land on me. They were swirling my head like a crowd. There was a lot of but the other thing that's interesting, I will just share as it relates to Mother Malia, is that my whole life, people have made offerings to me. If they recognize me on a deep level, this was back when I first started my business. It was a little, my human did not know how to deal with this. People will just fling themselves on me, slide down my body, start kissing my feet, and I will not know what to do with that. They will pet my hair, they will just want to touch me and make offerings to me. And, but anyways, people all for my whole life have offered me honey. And even just before I went to Sedona, people were offering me honey. And when I got to Sedona, people were offering me honey well before this even all came together.
Wow.
And so, yes, A lot has changed, of course. There were many things that were initiated just before I left. And then I came back. It's not at all resonant. My whole team exploded because I am like a full moon. You know, I'm a big energy, and
Mm,
meaning it's a highly potent energy. And so, if someone is very unregulated, I suppose would just be the easy way to say that. I literally will be like a full moon in their energy field.
mm,
And so not well, I have one team member still from that time who's just lovely and she understands the mission. She just saw right away, she understood the mission. I had to release a lot of programs.
mm.
I had some clients that have known me for many years and they needed to move on because they were grieving, you know, which I understand. I haven't had no choice. I have not been able to shut this off. So I have to just kind of grieve the loss of my human, so to speak.
Sure.
Just moment by moment, that's all I can do. And my human is still here. She has to be here enough to tether me. So the easiest
Okay.
way to explain this is almost like it is a walk-in experience, but it is not really. It is that I have reached my highest ascension point. So I have even done the astrology chart for my new birthday. Now, as my human, I was a Virgo, and Virgo is all about perfection, but Virgo is about mastering divine perfection, which is what Mother Malia is and what she transmits. So then I redid my chart. Someone said to me, "You should redo your chart." I said, "Well, that's not really relevant. I'm not going, why will I follow that?" And I thought, no, I better understand how it's going to impact the human part of me, the part of
Yeah.
me that has to, you know, do the human things. And my astrologer said, "You will not believe this. You literally, of course, you have the perfect chart for Malia. It is very clear that you are here to lead the masses through the ascension. You are here to help the light leaders." And she said, "You will not believe this, but your rising sign is now Virgo. So now everything is led by divine perfection, you see." And
Mm.
I am now a Libra because my birth date was October 1st, which is kind of a very easy date for me to remember.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. You know, I have one technical question because I'm just so interested in this.
Yes,
So your human is embodying Mother
yes,
Malia,
yes,
and the human keeps Mother Malia tethered, as you said. But
yes.
do you still consider the human as channeling Mother Malia, or is it not channeling?
Yes, it is that I am Mother Malia, she is me. So
Okay,
it's just more, I appreciate because it is a little complex, isn't it? Because it's not a walk-in experience, but that's pretty much the easiest way to explain that.
that's what
And
I was
so,
thinking a little bit,
yeah,
just for my logical mind to grab onto something. Yeah.
yes. And for anyone listening that has heard about walk-ins, but you may not be aware, there are two different kinds of walk-ins. One is where basically your highest self, so to speak, will drop into the now. So you're no longer operating from ego, you're operating from really, I will just say for ease, this energy. I call this the highest ascension point. So this is beyond living your purpose. This is
Mm.
like the easiest way to say this is that this is your oversoul. So I am now the totality of my oversoul. Yes. So that is very possible. And for especially for you, Vanessa, I can already see it in your field. Many of
Yeah,
us are,
you and I gotta come clean. I think I've been resisting. I'm working through it, you know, especially with the
yes.
channeling part. I was going deep and then something said not right now. And so I'm working on receiving. I do feel it. And I think that's why we were drawn together at this time.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. So
Hmm.
so the human has to tether me. The human has to say, "Hey, it's time to go to the bathroom, Malia. Hey, it's time to feed the body. Hey, it's time to have a shower, you know, whatever." And also just like I can still give human examples from my past. You know, we are the same person, but Malia controls the mouth. So even if my human has a thought, it can't come out of the mouth. I literally cannot swear. And I am
Mm,
not against swearing. It is about the harmonic that it creates.
right.
It is just not allowed.
The
So
frequency.
yes, and so uh, my human has to be present enough, obviously, for this to keep Malia present enough. But there are times I go into full trance. But somehow I don't. I really wish I could explain it to you. There's probably no human words, but my human still kind of has a way of retrieving her, even when I literally will shapeshift into a bee. I don't mean a little tiny bee, but my body will literally become the shape of a bee. And
Oh,
many people have seen that. So that is
amazing.
kind of, you know, some people will say, well, that is the ultimate form of shamanism when you can literally
Yeah.
shapeshift into other forms. I don't subscribe to that because I don't like spiritual arrogance in our community. I don't like the hierarchy or other such things. I am not better than anyone. This is just my path because for whatever reason, it's my path, you know? I'm
Mm.
very clear on the mission, but yes, I love my human, don't get me wrong. And I had to also grieve the loss of my human as well, because the life that was planned through the human filter is just not going to be the life anymore, you see.
Mm.
My hair has changed, and little simple things, right? But how I do my hair, what the clothing I would like to adorn my body with, the foods I would like to fill the body with, how I would like to spend my time. You know, people ask me, well, what's on your bucket list now? How could I possibly have anything on my bucket list? I have access to everything I need. I have no
Mm.
need. I only create. I create whatever I desire
Ah.
because I have no need. Even when I first came back, Mal, you told me you're not allowed to have anyone work on the body. I said, why? She said, because they will approach your body as something that needs to be fixed, and you are the ceremony. This is true of all of us. You are the ceremony, you are the celebration, you are not broken. So even if they say, no, I am just working on you and your body will know what to do, they still come in with an energy of, I'm going to fix you. And
Mm.
there is nothing in me, and frankly, any of us to be fixed. That is all programming and distortion.
Yes.
And so I cannot have people coming into my field saying, I'm going to work on you. What are you going to work on? Please do share with me. You know, I am
Right.
divine perfection.
Yeah, this resonates so deeply. Recently, I've been
Yes.
called into more purpose work and helping people discover, design, and decode their purpose through astrology, human design, and really
Yes.
craft it in whatever the way they want and with my help. But I was
Yes.
coming out of the healer phase, like you said, working on people, working on their energy, approaching it like a problem. And it was so draining after a while. And I thought, what is going on here? I thought I loved this. And now I'm realizing through this conversation, it was just me graduating, expanding my perspective and realizing that like you said, there's a program, there's a distortion that we're broken or that we need to be
Yes.
worked on.
Yes, and I used to do that as well. And so I will tell you, if you don't mind, where it all stems from. We know what planet we are living in, or who thinks they own the planet. We will reclaim our planet. I promise you that. I do not say that as a utopian sort of selling people a fairy tale. We will reclaim our planet. We are already reclaiming it. And part of why the urgency is here and why Mother Malia need to come in now is because we have the whole new wave of people that would like to come in, but they cannot inhabit this planet as long as there is density on the planet. They cannot inhabit a body because their energy is too big. You understand what I'm saying? The new ascended beings that want to come on the planet now and take human form. Many of them will take adult form. They will literally become walk-ins. There are many humans here now that will walk away from their adult form body because they will be complete, and it has already been contracted for other beings to come in and take over the body because they don't want to start from the beginning. They want to start as adults to spread the light, anchor the light, but they cannot even make it onto the planet if the vibration is not fortified enough. You see, I have always been I have always been an impeccable steward of my consciousness and create pristine conditions in the body. That's why Malia was able to come in fully to the body, because the
Mm.
body had to be vibrationally fortified enough to hold this big of an energy. And,
Mm.
but back to my point, the Slytherins have programmed us to believe that we are dirty, disgusting, disposable human beings, actually human resources, just like livestock. We are literally an objectified resource to them. That is why the enslavement codes exist and why certain races, as we know, the races that actually have their original coding more intact than others are the ones that are highly targeted. Our fellow humans from Africa,
Yeah.
our fellow humans from various Latin Americas. And if you look now, they are very much enslaved in the hospitality industry, being completely underpaid,
Mm. Yeah.
being 50 years old, needing to have roommates and working 16-hour days because they cannot afford to live. And yet they are cleaning the rooms and serving the people that are paying $1,000 a room. I have a bit of a bee in my bonnet, as you can see about this, but also
Yeah.
the people from the Philippines. But of course, everyone on some level, all humans are oppressed by the enslavement codes because they just view us as disposable resources. And
Mm,
why? When people say, why do they treat us like this? Because they do not view us as human. That is why. And they also don't have a conscience. So, of course, they don't care. There's literally no empathy present. But my point is, they created a paradigm that is the savior, suffering, sacrifice paradigm. So I am not allowed to have unless I am saving others. I'm not a worthy human being unless I am suffering. I have to sacrifice. I have to sacrifice my health for my clients. I have to sacrifice my relationship for money. I have to, it is so inherent. Just if you look at your actual business right now, everyone, all of the ways that you don't even realize because the program is so thick of where you are sacrificing, where
mhm,
you are trying to save people from their suffering. And it is all noble, believe me. I understand it comes from actually a very caring place. And if we want our sovereignty back, we must meet sovereign to sovereign. We must not judge where people are at. We say, okay, that person is choosing that reality for themselves right now. I don't know why. It is not my business to know why. I can still hold them in neutrality and just view them human to human, salute them sovereign to sovereign, and say, okay, wonderful. I wonder what you are mastering, and move along. But like you, Vanessa, and like really frankly, all of us, because this is also the program in the Healy Feely community, is that we are a bad healer if we charge too much for things. It means we don't care. We're all about the money. That we shouldn't charge for this because it is doing God's work. All of the things we hear. But what happens is then it births the problem paradigm, right?
mm,
And so many are in, so the broken healer paradigm, even if you think you're wealthy, if you are still focusing on I am broke or other people are broke, meaning broken, then of
right.
course we are broke financially, well, resource wise, energy wise, time wise, money wise, etc. And so really in our original coding and why it feels so poopy in our field is because we are here to restore the field of sovereignty, the field of imagination, and the field of possibility. We are meant to thrive in a field of possibility where there are no problems. They're literally, think about it. If you're in the penthouse and all you see 360 degrees is possibility, it does not mean that there aren't people with problems. It does not mean there are not things to solve, but your awareness is not hyper focused on problems. For example, I am aware of who thinks they are running the world. How much of my energy and attention do they get? None. I have completely extricated, simply because vibrationally I can't. I have extricated my most precious resource, which is my attention, off of the world stage. And so
Mm,
the more of us that do that, because we simply cannot, because it simply is not resonant to even pay attention to what's happening, if they don't have our attention, they don't have control over us. So if we withdraw our attention, because what is our attention becomes our intention, and we raise our joy quotient, our capacity to hold the frequency that translates as joy, we win. We win the war that has been brought to our doorstep. We reclaim heaven on earth. And I
mm,
know that sounds simple, but I think people know this to be true in their original coding.
yeah, yeah. So powerful. And please do feel free to continue channeling and sharing any other codes and keys to share with the spiritual entrepreneur audience that I have that listens to this podcast. Any
Yes.
other insights
Oh.
and wisdom for the rest of 2024?
Oh, yes. Well, I believe people are feeling this. Here's what I am seeing over the last few weeks. There is just a deep, deep urgency to accelerate all of our individual missions and the collective mission to reclaim our planet.
Mm, yeah.
And that is in part because the new wave of beings want to come and they need the vibration to be just a smidge higher, And we need more light on the planet and we need more bodies, is what I'm saying, holding more light.
Mm,
Right. And so if the mission, if if we are getting hung up in the I don't want to, or like we're finding that there are some crunchy bits around client attraction or making more money, etc. This might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but I promise that the mission is not big enough. because we will feel contracted when we have contracted around the mission. Now, your mission is gargantuan, by the way, but what I mean is, well, if we have an enormous mission, which I know everyone attracted to you is, it just is, because you are so, your mission is so big, it will be impossible for them not to. So hello, everyone, I see you. But I get it. It can feel very puzzling that how come I have this enormous mission, but not the enormous volumes of wealth to match this, right? Well, it is because when we are not willing to lean into the enormity of the mission, it feels too small. And when things feel too small, everything contracts, including money. When the mission is just non-negotiable, I can't help but I'm just almost overflowing with joy right now, even about to say this. Like, I love this mission so much. It is a pure, infinite joy and honor and privilege. I'm getting emotional. Just gratitude. I mean, I'm not sad. It's just a overwhelming gratitude, It's just such a great honor to do this with everyone and to see everyone again. And that is, I don't need a reason to get up. I just am the mission, you see?
Mm, this is
And
so
and
delightful.
yes, isn't it wonderful? So let's, for all of you listening, let's do a little bit of clearing. We're going to evaporate any blocks to you fully embracing the enormity of your mission and embracing the support, including from money that wants to come in and support the enormity of your mission. You will not be sent here without all of the resources. I'm going to invite you to claim those right now in divine perfection. Oh, there we go. Yes.
Beautiful. Amazing.
Yes.
And thank you for this gift of your energy, your transmissions, everything that Mother Malia is. Yeah, today was just such a treat. And if there's anything else you want to share before we wrap up,
Oh,
feel
well,
free.
goodness, there's so much to share. But yes, the money is the medicine, truly. I know we all know that because we know that every time we up level, we say, oh, goodness, look at the version that I have become. So here's what I would love to actually just propose to everyone. What if now we just start getting excited about the new version we're going to meet on the other side of the next up level? I wonder who I've become. I wonder what my preferences are. I wonder what new people I get to meet. I wonder what new discoveries I have of myself. I wonder what new revelations of my mission will be revealed to me as I decide to go from, let's say, 5-figure months to 6-figure months, etc. We already know the outer takes care of itself. It is basic math. You know, if I want to have 100K month, I say, okay, I need to sell 10K packages this month,
Mhm.
I know that you get what I mean by that.
Yeah.
It's not that,
Mhm.
it's whatever. But knowing knowing what needs to be sold, knowing how to sell it, and actually having that be reality has nothing to do with the mechanics of business. It's all internal. Yes,
Mm.
the outer acts of love are important, but part of this is we don't allow those leaps because if I'm no longer working hard for my money, then I'm not allowed to have it. So I
Mhm.
actually have to make my up levels complicated. I actually have to
Mm.
have chaos after an up level, or be tired after an up level, or have an implosion to my partnership after an up level, because I have to prove to everyone that, see, I'm like you. It
Mm.
doesn't come easy to me either. Or yes, I did work hard. Or we take on non-ideal clients because that way we feel like, oh, okay, look at, I've worked hard for my money, because it's hard to move people, isn't it? But I take on people that I can't move, for example. I don't do this, but you know what I mean? I used to
Right.
do that.
Mhm.
I used to do that, by the way.
Right.
Yes. And so I want you all to just be the energy of, where might I be needing to prove that I've worked hard for my money? That is stealthy to me right now. I'm going to ask it to reveal itself to me. Where might I feel like I am rejecting the medicine of the money, and
Mm.
all of the various things? And then find yourself communities like Vanessa. Like Vanessa, I have to tell you, for the length of time I've known you, you have only been the brightest ball of light ever. You are just such a lovely human and ascend master. So thank you for who you be.
Thank
And
you.
you are just such a delight. And so for everyone listening, being connected with Vanessa, and surrounding yourself with people that are focused on the possibility, even though they are aware of, yes, we've got a lot of work to do, don't we, on this planet, you know? But if everyone plays their part, it's actually very easy to clean up the mess.
Yeah.
So this
Yes.
is really the work now, is let's all play our part.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I have one last question. I want to squeeze in
Yes.
here, just and it might tie everything full circle. Do we need to, this is going back to the problem paradigm that we are that is expiring, that we are graduating from.
Yes.
Do we need to work on our nervous systems? There's
Oh, yes.
to expand the capacity. Is that part of the problem paradigm, or is that a
No, well,
requirement?
trauma is trauma.
Okay.
And yes, absolutely. So absolutely 100%. There are two things actually that people will really need to make it a priority. It's not enough to be trauma informed anymore. You must also be informed through the neurodivergence, okay? And it's not that I like to use that word, but that is the label that the humans are using. So we will work with that. Frankly, neurodivergence is just a bunch of weirdos like us, isn't it? And I say that very playfully. I will have been neurodivergent too, and people might even say that about me now. So I will own it. Yes, I probably had undiagnosed ADHD my whole life if I were to subscribe to medical labels,
Mhm.
you know? Yes, I probably have, and I say this very playfully, touched by the tism, because yes, I believe I have some autistic tendencies. You know, I could be very blunt. I could be yes. And do you mind if I just spend a moment talking about this? Because most of the woo people, most of the channels very energetically sensitive have at least some semblance of neurodivergence. And here's why this is important as it relates to money, is my point. People that have ADD tend to have time blindness and money blindness. So they literally don't know. Think about how wrong you're all making yourself right now if this applies. What is wrong with me? How come everyone, maybe I am stupid, all of the things. No, the problem is that there's no problem. Well, first of all, but if we were going to label it as a problem, it is that you are trying to fit into a world that is designed to program you to be a factory worker. The school system is designed for extroverted children to train them how to be good, obedient little worker bee soldiers. It does not at all accommodate introverts or clairsentience or, you know, any of the things.
Mhm.
But my point is, when someone has neurodiversity of any kind, they say, I am a big weirdo. I can't fit into society. I'm going to emulate people. This is why we have so much mockery. Mimicking is what I will say in the online space, and why so many methodologies will not work for people, because they just say that person's is successful. I do better when I model what other people are doing. So I will model their techniques, and then they don't work for us. Of course they can't, because you are literally here to be the revolution. You are
Mm.
literally meant to be the revolutionary, the visionary, etc. It just won't work. It just won't work. Now, the secondary piece of this is then you go from program to program saying, well, I have to now emulate their model. Maybe that model is going to work for me. This is just, even if you think back to school, you will say, okay, everyone's laughing at this joke. I guess I shall laugh too. Even
Mhm.
when we think of people stealing IP, so to speak, the amount of copying we see in the online space, a good chunk of that is actually neurodiverse people not even knowing that they are coming a little bit too close to the line as far as emulating their coach or emulating other people online. So you
Mm.
see how now we can go back into neutrality and not judge that and not be shaming the people. Of course, there are many reasons. One is a character issue. Some people just don't have well-developed characters, and it is nothing for them to steal other people's ideas. Okay. So I'm not
Mm.
talking about them. I'm talking about the vast amount of people that are doing their best. They feel like they are treading water and that their head is about to go underwater, and they're just doing their best. They say, please, someone show me a method to help me. I just want to help the people, but I don't know how to do it. Their brain literally cannot sequence it. You
Mm.
see? And so the money blindness is I literally don't know what's coming in and out, even though, yes, I can see it. I somehow can't connect to it enough to know that I should steward it,
Mm.
you know? Or if I can't, the thing too about ADD is if I can't see it, it doesn't exist,
Mm.
right? So, for example, my husband has ADD and he has stuff everywhere. And I say, oh goodness, like there's a reason that cupboards and drawers have, you know? But I now understand it. I say he has to have it out because he will forget what he has if he can't see it. So that is kind of what I mean about the money blindness. So please, everyone, have dates in your calendar to literally just look at your bank account or your PayPal or whatever, just to see the money. Literally just to say, oh, there you are, to remind yourself you have it, but also to literally see how much you have, you know? And the secondary piece is the time blindness, and that can be applicable for both, but like, well, all forms, but ADD, ADHD. Uh, but that is literally people missing appointments because they don't have a concept of I should even look at the clock to see what time it is, or they don't have a concept of how much time and space has passed, or they
Mm,
will you know, try to stay longer on appointments. And some people get mad at them. Why does this client want to keep lingering on the appointment? They don't know that an hour has passed. It is on you as the leader to tell them we are at the 55-minute mark. We're about
mm,
to wrap up. Da, 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 da. So there are a lot of variables, but I will really love everyone to get a little more familiar with how your clients might be showing up in their neurodiversity, because you're pretty much guaranteed to have you know, a whole community filled with people that have it, and they are very in tune beings. That's the issue. They don't know how to function as human. They're not try. They literally, and I can tell you that now, Malia, I felt like a newborn baby when I first got on the planet.
okay.
And so, although my human has all the memories, I still kind of had to sequence my brain activity differently, if you get what I mean. I can't strategize the same way. My strategy is actually better, but it's different, you
Yeah.
know? And so we must, for ourselves, be trauma informed with ourselves and have compassion for ourselves.
Mm,
I
yeah.
can pretty much guarantee, well, here's another thing. Please stop doing the mindset work. The mind is where problems resist. All you are
Mm,
doing is being a manager instead of a CEO. If you are managing your mindset, because you are essentially managing problems and you are managing optics. You are not
mm,
a manager, you are a CEO. Now, I'm not saying that mindset work is not valuable for people on their awakening journey, but once you get to a certain level,
yes.
mindset work will be completely ineffective for you because we're no longer operating in the mind.
Right.
We are operating in our original coding. We are operating in our highest ascension point. And that
Mm,
is all frequency. It is just frequency now that we need to accelerate the business. But my point is, if you have been doing it, for everyone listening, if you have been doing the mindset work and things still aren't shifting, that's a good indication that you've got some trauma to clear, to at least explore, and perhaps some neurodiversity. But we want to do it for ourselves, but also for our clients, because we are trying to fit. This is why I love the human design, by the way, because it is not the be all and end all, but it really does provide clarity. And so thank you for the work that you do, Vanessa, because really, not all copy is the same. You know, I can tell you how to write copy, and if it works against your design, it's not going to work for you, is it? You know, your offers are not going to convert the same way. I can tell you to, you know, as a projector, by the way, I say to everyone, don't wait for the invitation, be the invitation. Become the vibration of invitation. So the more invitational your field is, the more invitations you will elicit. That is actually the easiest. I know it sounds strange because the programming says it's not, but that is actually the easiest design to have,
yeah. Yeah.
even though it
Good
seems like it's not.
invitation. Yeah, I love you the way you're saying it. Be the invitation. And because I tell my projector clients, just position yourself for the invitation, which I think is essentially the
Yes.
same thing.
Oh,
So,
it is. Yes, it is.
mm,
But also literally become the vibration of the invitation. So, for example, with me, I might embody joyful invitation because that's more my frequency. Someone else might want to become the vibration of welcoming. You get what I mean? Like it
yeah,
is, yes, the positioning, absolutely. When people are sold on you, no convincing ever needed.
yeah,
Uh, and for reflectors, you already understand. You are literally, God bless you for anyone that's a reflector. I get it because I am just a constant, you know, a dartboard for projections,
yeah.
good or bad. So I get
Right.
it, right? The
Mm,
key is to learn how to harness that. So
mm,
if someone wants to uh, flood a velocity of hatred towards me, it is not the hatred that I will I will harness with my butterfly net, it is the velocity, and I will use the velocity to create money momentum because I know how to master energy. You see what I'm saying? If someone
Hmm.
wants to whoosh a tidal wave of energy towards me, all I have to do is catch it, infuse it with the energy I want, and then let it. If you have ever done martial arts, you know, if someone charges at you, you step away and you step to the side and you use your hands to actually push them very gently, push them along, and let them use their own velocity against them. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's the same
Hmm.
kind of thing. I say, great, you hate me, wonderful. I will harness that velocity of venom that you are literally at me, and I will infuse it with love or joy or whatever, and I will it back out into the world.
Hmm.
That is how reflectors. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. For me as a generator, um, you know, my job is to respond. So I have to pay attention to what are people showing me. When I get whooshes of people all complaining about the same thing, then I say,
Hmm.
all they're doing is asking me a question that they don't know how to ask. So it is coming through the lens of complaint. But there is actually a question underneath that, which is help me clear this. I don't want this anymore. So it's
Yeah.
my job to say, what are they actually asking me for? So if I have, let's say, 10 people come at me in a day and say, I'd love to, strangers, you know, I'd love to work with you, but I can't afford you. Well, it's not about me, by the way. It's about you. Don't triangulate onto me. That's triangulation.
Hmm.
Just like people will say, I can't grow because I don't want to leave people behind. Don't make it about other people. It's about you. But my point is, if I have enough of that, I say everyone's asking me something. They're unsolicited. They have felt the need to come into my messenger and tell me, hey, you're on my vision board. I want to work with you one day when I can afford you. I don't know that I am. Do you get what I mean? So I say, this is interesting. 10 people today. I wonder what they're asking me to help them shift. And I tune in and I respond. I say, oh, they're asking to have access to certain codes, for example, then maybe I will create a one-on-one offer, a group offer, a mastermind or something based on that.
Hmm. Beautiful.
Oh, and can I just, sorry, will I just be able to say one more thing? So Malia is very clear about this. You see, she teaches my human a lot too, that helps me then run the business better. So back, it used to, for my whole life, even with my own mother, she will want me to be her mother. My whole life, and it will get annoying, extremely annoying. And in my human, I used to get annoyed, and sometimes I will have to set very firm boundaries with people, and I didn't like that feeling. And sometimes I will keep setting the boundary over again. People still want to break the boundary because they still want me to be a mom, and I will just say, I'm not your mom. What is happening here? Well, of course, when I became Mother Malia, I realized what was happening. They were put in my path to anoint me to my
Hmm.
to my calling. Okay. So I was finding it annoying. I was not annoyed with them, but I was finding the behavior annoying. Why? Because I was resisting the anointing.
Wow.
You see that?
Yeah.
I become Mother Malia. I say, no wonder. I am not a mother, by the way. Mother Malia, the great mother, simply means I am a steward for humanity. There are very sort of big overarching collective things I am responsible for making sure happen. You get what I mean? I'm not people's mother. Some people resist calling me Mother Malia because they think that I'm asking to be their mother. I'm not. It is simply my name, you know? But my point is, think about how much liberation we get, because think about how you go to judgment, then blame or shame because someone is annoying me or I am annoying myself sometimes, you know? But over the years, I would say, and I will, by the way, invest a ton of time, money, and energy trying to clear this. What is the part of me that keeps attracting people that are that view me as their mother? I don't want children as clients. What is happening? They weren't
Hmm.
being children. They just recognized me without knowing they were recognizing me, and they were calling me deeper into my medicine,
Hmm.
my anointing. So now, for everyone listening, hopefully it's already connecting the dots. When you get annoyed, when there is a cluster of annoyances coming in, you say, what is the anointing? It's annoying when we put out offers, we know how wonderful our medicine is, and everyone says, I just want you to know I want to work with you, but I can't afford you. We say, I don't even need to hear this. Why are you telling me this? That I promise you, although that seems like an annoyance, You are being anointed to something that you are resisting, and they've been sent into your path to activate you.
Yes. So good.
Right? Yes.
So
I could
good.
go on forever, but perhaps we could do this again, Vanessa, because it's just so
Absolutely.
delightful to speak with you. And yes, I could ramble on forever, but I just trying to pour the medicine into everyone because I understand everyone is very evolved in your community. And now it is just a matter of nuance. It's just a matter of, turning on one more light, on